Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you are here and joining me with the inaugural episode of On the Scene with Fred White. What I'm going to be doing with this is I'm going to start going around the crime scenes. I'm going to start going around all types of things that's going on in New York City, and I'm going to bring you the coverage right from the scene. Today we are live right here in Brooklyn. We are in the Cypress Hill section of Brooklyn, where this neighborhood was besieged by terror this week. And that footage that you just seen, there was a drive-by. There was a drive-by right here on Vermont Street. And the guys came out of the sunroof and they shot this park up behind me. As you can see, it's a big park. The kids were out here playing basketball, and these kids just came out the thing and they just started shooting. They actually shot 3 people. They shot, one of them lived and the other 2 kids died. One of the deceased was only 16 years old. The other one was 18. The 16-year-old name, I believe, was Kleimer Mendez, and the 18-year-old name was Antonio Villa. And they were shot right here in this park, the George Walker Jr. Park, right here in Vermont Street in Cypress Hills. Okay, so you see, that's not the end of the story. So that happened on Sunday. On Monday, they set up this vigil for the deceased. Candles, balloons, flowers. You know, we got to have the Hennessy bottles out here. But on Monday, the violence wasn't over. On Monday, as these people are setting up this vigil right here, some people came from around the corner, 2 kids, and they started shooting. And they started shooting here into the crowd at the vigil. Except they couldn't really shoot that good, even as close as they got. And they only shot 1 person in the shoulder. And, you know, thank God for that. Because, see, that's the thing. These kids are shooting guns and shooting, and they have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea of the power that this actual gun has. They have no clue, no idea. And I know because I've done it in structured environments and things like that, and it's not easy to shoot a gun, and it's definitely not easy to hit your target, you know? So when these kids are running around and they're shooting up parks to try to get 1 or 2 individuals when there's 100 people in the park, that's not gangster. That's not gangster to me, and that's not gangster to anybody, and that definitely shouldn't be gangster to the OGs out here. And that's who I'm calling upon. I'm calling upon the elders out here in this community. And when I say elders, I don't mean the preacher, I don't mean the clergyman, I don't mean the politicians, I mean the OGs. I mean the people who actually claim this neighborhood. I'm talking about the people who will actually run around and say, Cypress Hills is my hood, okay? This is what I'm talking about. Or the people out here saying, you know, I run Cypress Hills. If you run Cypress Hills, and if Cypress Hills is your hood, then you need to care about it. You need to care about your community. You need to care about the kids and what they're doing. As an OG, you need to be telling these kids the right thing to do. As an OG, you need to tell people your experiences and the stuff that you've been through, because that's what OGs are. OGs have been through it all. So instead of putting the guns in these kids' hands, OGs, you need to be out here, and you need to be out here in the streets, and you need to be out here combating, you know, this violence and stopping this nonsense that's going on. Look at this. Look at this. 18 and 16. Altogether 4 people shot in 2 days. And for what? Who knows the reason? I don't care what the reason is. Whatever the reason is, it's not worth your life. Whatever the reason is, it's not worth the rest of your life in the penitentiary to the shooters. It's not worth it. Now what? Now because check this out. If you think these guys, no one got caught, but if you think they're not going to get caught, you're crazy. Because as I always say, there's rats in every single neighborhood in New York City. Every single one. There's not, you know, not like, oh, not around here. Everywhere. There's rats, there's informants. So the police already know who these guys are, trust me. Now they just got to gather the evidence to actually arrest them. You know what I mean? Because it's a difference when you know who did it and actually having to prove it. But they already know who did it. Believe me, they got the names. So again, people, we need to stop the violence. Again, I'm calling on the real OGs to be out here in the community and talking to these kids, man, and enlightening them and letting them know what they're doing. They're ruining lives. They're ruining their own lives, shooting guns, and you know, this has caused so much pain and so much to these kids' families. Think about these kids' families. They're going through it. It's crazy. So anyway, people, I hope you like the inaugural episode of On the Scene with Fred White. I'm going to be bringing you all the news from all over New York City, and I think you're going to like it. So on that note, people, Fred White, signing off from Cypress Hills.